Here is your host, General Holland M. Smith, former Commanding General, Fleet Marine Force, Pacific Area, United States Marine Corps.
The 1st Marine Division drew a tough assignment in Korea. By all the logistics of war, the entire division should have been cut to pieces, killed, or captured. But the catastrophe was averted. This is the story of how it was done.
We are the 7th Regiment, leading the division advance to the north. Our mission, assigned by the 10th U.S. Army Corps, is advance to the Manchurian border, destroying such enemy as are encountered on the way. October 26th, we landed at Wonsan. We moved our headquarters to Hungnam in early November. We are near Sudong when we slam into some outfit several times larger than our regiment, and the roof caves in. On November 3rd, as we capture our first prisoners, we are suspicious. By November 4th, we are certain. We know something the world does not. This is no North Korean outfit. It is fresh from communist Red China. On the 8th of November, we break through. Our regiment has destroyed the 124th Chinese Division. Cautiously, we push ahead on what some of us call Operation Limb. We move farther and farther out on the limb. We think of the phrase teeming millions, and we wonder how many are between us and Manchuria. We occupy Koto-ri and leave a battalion to guard our vital supply line. In the gathering silence, we seize and occupy Hagaruri and set up division headquarters. Here, the 10th Corps changes our objective from north along the reservoir to westward, and we move on to Udamni. On the vital peak dominating the route between Hagaru and Udamni, we leave Fox Company 7th Marines. Their 5-day battle to hold it against overwhelming odds will become a classic. For 19 nervous November days, we inch farther and farther out on Operation Limb. On the 27th, battalions of the 5th and 7th Regiments are ordered to attack westward and occupy Mapyongni, some 50 miles to the west, along the southern edge of the frozen Chosin Reservoir. It is one objective we never reach. Near Udamni, the enemy saws off the limb. Shoot one, 4 appear. Destroy 4, a squad springs up. Wipe out the squad, a company replaces it. Rout the company, you face a battalion. They are everywhere. They are 25,000, and we are only 7,000.
Simultaneously, division headquarters at Hagaru became aware that a giant encircling movement involving 10 communist Chinese divisions was on the way. The enemy launched simultaneous attacks. They popped up on 3 sides at Udamni. They launched an all-out continuing attack on Hagaru that encircled the division headquarters. They isolated Coterie and severed the Marine supply line at 4 places.
A Marine truck convoy proceeding from Coterie to Hagaruri is ambushed with heavy losses. The encirclement continues through the day of November 24th. On the eastern shore of the chosen reservoir, elements of 2 regiments of the 7th Infantry Division, United States Army, are badly mauled, but fight their way across the ice to Hagaruri.
By now, the question was not how many millions were ahead, but the thousands who were behind. Between the 15,000 Marines and Army units and the port of Hungnam were an estimated 60,000 Communist Red Chinese troops. Any advance was impossible. The division split into 4 segments. Each segment surrounded was fighting for its existence. Hagaru, Udamni, Coterie, Chinghungni. Unless these segments could be consolidated and quickly, the 1st Marine Division, for the first time in its history, was facing defeat, annihilation. In the encircled division, headquarters at Hagaruri, Major General Oliver P. Smith began the first step of this consolidation. He ordered the 5th and 7th Regiments to regroup at Udamni, attack to the south, and fight their way back to Hagaru.
At Udamni, as we regroup, the wounded must be cared for and evacuated. Only 3 helicopters are available. For 96 hours, they fly day in and day out. But on December 1st, jump-off day, there are still hundreds of wounded waiting to be evacuated.
Marines do not leave their wounded buddies to be captured, killed, or tortured by the enemy. We bring him back, or we don't come back. We tie the wounded on the hoods, the tailbones, the jeeps. MPs help the Navy medical corpsmen care for them, shield them from snipers. December 1 is cold, sub-zero, but clear. Marine pilots bomb, straight, drop napalm on enemy concentrations which parallel the route. At 0830, the 7th Regiment, spearheading the drive, jumps off. Its riflemen as flankers right and left, clearing the crests and ridges. The 5th fights the savage rearguard action. It is 40 degrees below freezing.
After a full day of fighting, we have advanced the length of 5 football fields. During the night, we stave off incessant attacks from bugle-blowing, giggling communist Chinese. Some angel in a Marine pilot uniform braves the darkness, the peaks, the ridges, and the enemy fire to break up their concentrations. And the wounded, the magnificent wounded, not a peep, not a whimper. Those too badly injured to man a fighting position crawl up beside us with hot coffee, and stay to fill the cartridge belts and ammo clips. During the brief lulls, they keep guard so we can sleep. On the morning of December 2nd, our weary leading units fight southward. Their ranks are thinned by enemy fire. They regroup and again fight southward. They are cut to pieces, and the pieces regroup and again fight southward. Southward toward Hagaru. At noon, the division train edges forward. "200 yards down the narrow mountain trail, a hidden enemy machine gun cuts loose. It sprays the wounded, and 17 wounded become 17 dead. This is our avenging angel. A curtain of snow blankets us. We are a ship. At the prow, our forward flankers part the sea of enemy anger, widen and extend it, so that our division train can squeeze through. As we pass, the waves of the enemy close behind us. Inundation threatens from in front, from the right, from the left, from the rear. For 8 vulnerable miles, we fight and crawl as hundreds become wounded. For 8 exposed miles, we fight and plod, and fight and stop, and plod again as hands and feet and ears and noses freeze or are numb and frostbitten with cold. For 13 incessant miles, we fight and trudge as lubricating oils in combat equipment congeals, slowing the recall from split seconds to full minutes. Enemy roadblock after enemy roadblock is crushed. As we near the vital peak dominating the entrance to Hagaru-Ri, there is no enemy fire. Fox Company has won its 5 days and nights of incessant battle. 240 men went up. 118 became casualties. Hagaru-Ri is surrounded on 4 sides. As the 7th Regiment slashes into the enemy, the situation changes, and Hagaru-Ri becomes surrounded on 3 sides. For our elements, like a giant snake, are pouring into the town, uncoiling. 18 hours later, by 2 p.m. of December 4th, the 5th Regiment is in and buttons up the rear entrance. We are no longer a division cut into 4 segments. Now there are only 3. In 4 days, we have come 15 miles. There are only 20 more to go.
As the weary 5th and 7th Regiments grabbed what little rest they could, headquarters planned a further attack to the south for the 1st Marine Division and the 3 battalions of the Army's 7th Infantry Division. Planes from the Air Force Combat Cargo Command and the 1st Marine Air Wing airdropped supply and ammunition. There were approximately 4,000 wounded in Hagaru, and during the 3 days of regrouping and preparation, hundreds of these were safely evacuated to the rear areas.
As we we prepare to fight southward toward Kotori, Marine engineers blow the bridges and detonate all supply that cannot be carried with us.
For once, we do not mind the snow. It is our friend, our ally. It cloaks us and covers us. It protects us from the enemy on the hills and the crests above. It anoints us with anonymity. It restoreth our strength. We hope it will follow us for this day and forever, until we are rested and regrouped.
We rest when we can. Eat when we can. We clean our equipment. We check our ammo. We cross numb fingers and look to the sky. The snow, our friend, is becoming our enemy. Tomorrow is jump-off day, and between us and Kotori, 100 hills. Upon each hill, there's a big red bull. He eats and never gets full. Threshing machine. And we must thresh our way through these thousands of red Chinese communists. Clear skies mean close Marine air support to bomb him from the peaks, strafe his concentration on the reverse sides of the ridges, napalm and burn away his concealment, weakening him. Continued snow means we will meet them individually, hand to hand, fighting up the icy, snowy slopes, exposed, vulnerable to their concealed fire. Lord, we need help. We need clear skies. We scan the heavens. Fearfully, we look for a star. The hours draw on. We pray, please, a star, if it be thy will. It came at exactly 9:37 p.m. Hundreds saw it appear and twinkle weakly. It was exactly 9:37 p.m. Hundreds held their breath as it briefly disappeared. It was seconds after 9:37 that it gleamed into full strength. Thy will be done. Kotori is 10 miles away. Kotori is 400 wounded away. Kotori is 2 days away. The length of our division train is 1,400 vehicles. Measured in time, it is 19 and a half hours long. By midnight, 19 and a half hours later, the rear elements are safe in Kotori. We are no longer a division cut into 3 segments. We are once again a complete division, less the 1st Battalion at Chinhongni. We regroup, resupply, evacuate more wounded, fight off the persistent enemy. On December 8th, as we strike again toward the south, the 1st Battalion fights its way northward, sweeping the enemy from the hills and ridges. On December 9th, we meet them in the snowy vastness. December 10th, we fight southward. On December 11th, we break through the last enemy units, reach the 10th Corps line. The way is open to the sea.
For 15 bitter, sub-zero days, the officers and men of the 1st Marine Division and the 2 battalions of the Army's 7th Infantry Division had fought their way through an enemy outnumbering them 4 and 5 to 1. For 15 days, they had struggled in a tactical position which by all the logistics of war should have ended with their being cut to pieces, killed or captured. Only a masterful battle plan, coupled with the guts of the individual American fighting man, had prevented the catastrophe. As the battered troops came slogging their way out from the valleys of the shadow, they came with pride. They had absorbed the wrath of 10 communist Red Chinese divisions. They had staggered, but they had not fallen. They brought back all of their wounded and many of their dead. Their spirits were undaunted, and their combat equipment was intact.
On Christmas Eve day, as the 10th Corps completed the evacuation of Hungnam, as they loaded the 105,000 troops, the 17,500 vehicles, the 350,000 tons of supplies, and the 91,000 Korean civilians, the onrushing divisions of Red China were dwarfed and overshadowed by the real enemy. The riflemen we had so recently fought may have been from communist Red China, but their guns, artillery, mortars which had drawn American blood were manufactured in Russia. The pilots who flew the planes may have been from communist Red China, but their modern MiG jets were stamped, made in USSR. Russia, the silent one, who stood at the shoulder of Red China, observing, advising, supplying. Russia, the real enemy, who was spending so freely of our strength with so little cost to himself.